Hey guys, so we're taking a look at, well, we're unboxing something called the Bittboy. This thing has been making its rounds on YouTube. I did take a brief look at it, but I wasn't entirely interested until they decided that they were going to release a firmware on it that I'm really quite adept with. So the Bittboy, what is it? It's a micro console. Oh, something's rattling in there. We've actually got some information on the back here. So it supports external micro SD, it does GBA, SNES, Mega Drive, Sega Master System, PC Engine, NES, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Neo Geo and MAME. It has a headphone jack, it does save games, has a 2.4-inch IPS display, it has a full screen original resolution display and screen brightness adjustment. It has a 700 mAh rechargeable battery, which gives us supposedly 2 to 3 hours. I'll have to test that. And it's got a TV out, so in which case it's actually got a TRS jack, I presume. So inside the box, oh, it comes in this cute little cellophane wrapper, which comes out, and it seems like dog hairs are already getting on it. Right. Quite like this, it's got a nice little design on it, and this is the device itself. It's itty bitty little thing. These buttons are glossy, same as a D-pad. These are actually micro switches, so these actually have a rubberized texture, slight rubberized texture to them. Now the printing on there is not bad, actually. It's pretty damn high quality. The actual device itself feels like it's got a slight rubberized texture to it. Now it does have a T here, so I'm presuming they're the turbo buttons. We've got an A and B button here, but it's probably going to be ignored. So on the bottom of the device we've got a micro USB and a 3.5mm TRS jack, and I'm just looking because this bag looks like it's not been put on properly. So let's take a look at that. So you've got the battery in the back here. Now this is removable, I hope. Yes, and it looks like one of those advanced SP batteries. So I'm presuming we can just buy more of these for cheaps. And that just slots in the back like that. I don't know why that wasn't on. Yeah, there's been a few revisions of this apparently, but the whole thing is covered in a slightly texturized grip. Yeah, the screen does attract fingerprints, but it's to be kind of expected. So shame don't do a glass variant. Actually, that does feel like glass on the lip, but I'm not entirely sure. It does kind of feel like glass, but I'm not entirely sure. And on the top we have the micro SD card slot, and I think that's a power switch. Nothing on the sides at all, just bare bones. But it does have that nice rubberized grip. In fact, like, I'm not even holding it with much pressure here, and I'm finding it hard to slip, so it won't slip out of your hands easily when you're playing, even though it's got these glossy buttons. But they do feel quite nice. Despite them being glossy, fairly grippy. I just presume after a bit of a sweaty session you may end up not being able to grip those, but never mind. So before we turn the device on, let's take a look at what else comes in the box, because I'll be intrigued, because apparently this is supposed to be the device. Yeah, I didn't order it with an SD card, but it came with one anyway. I'm not complaining. An 8GB SanDisk, and as it's from China, who knows, this could be genuine. Most probably isn't, but if it's 8GB, it shall do us. That's pretty nice. So in the bottom, we've got a nice little cellophane or bubble wrap sort of thing. I like the way it's packaged really nicely. So we don't have doesn't seem to have a TRS cable. Luckily I've got a couple of those from some devices I've previously owned. We've got a little manual here. Basic functionalities. So select B is volume up, select A is volume down. How to adjust the screen brightness is select TB, select TA. Insert the micro SD that comes in the package. Bittboy is pre-installed the customized firmware. Turn on the device. Wait 2 to 3 seconds. You will be in the main menu. Select the emulator you want to play. Games. Press A to the game list. Yeah. That's not very... I mean, they've gone for some effort. I like the fact it's not one of those... It is colour printed. And it's not one of those like really crappy manuals that you get with these, but it's still written in bad English. It even has a thing that says adapter pin down there. It tells you what buttons are, where the TS slot is, the power LED, etc, etc. It also comes with this nice little microSD USB reader. Now, a lot of people will probably say these are cheap and horrible, but if it works, it works. Right? And we've also got a micro USB charging cable. Let's undo it and see how long it is. It doesn't look like it's too long. It's about half a metre. It feels quality actually for a micro USB cable. You might not look it by some of the mouldings here, but it does feel quality. The cable itself feels fairly thick, and there is no gold plating, but that's to be expected. It'll do, as we say in England. It'll do. So the device itself, let's switch her on without the SD card in and see what happens. Now hopefully you guys can see this. I may have to hoist the camera up slightly. Let's do that for you. Let's hoist her up. There she blows. So it's on because the power LED here is on. Quite like the little power LED there. It looks quite nice, and I definitely like the screen. The way they've printed around, it's pretty decent. So by the looks of it, nothing will load at all on this thing without an SD card. Interesting. Let me find a blank one. I'll find a blank one and then see if it'll do it. Right, blank SD card. I say blank, it's got some things on it, but nothing that the Bittboy should really be able to recognise. So we shall put that in there first. Because I've seen some of these with different firmware, so I want to see if this has the original firmware. There we go. Takes a bit of pushing in, that does. Switch it on. Nothing. So this concludes that this is actually, in fact, the Bittboy with custom firmware only, and it does not have a original firmware on there, I presume. Although there are no ROMs on this, so it may only come up if it reads the ROMs. Who knows? We shall have to test that in another video. For now, we'll stick the one that comes in pre-packaged, and we'll see what we've got. And we'll boot her up. Ooh. Now, you will possibly notice some weird artifacting on the camera itself, but it looks crisp. Looks super crisp. So if we press select, one of these does the brightness. There we go. So that's as bright as it goes. Ooh, what was that? That's actually pretty bright. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? There's like a really weird faint noise. Hang on, let me just put this to my ear. Okay, that's weird. Basically, there is some really weird white noise coming from the speaker. Let's see if we turn the volume down. Yeah, it still happens. So when the brightness is turned up, let's come out of this. I don't know why I picked that up. Yeah, so when the brightness is turned up, nothing now. Oh, a very faint hiss now. I don't know if you can hear that, but when the brightness is turned off and when the brightness is up, there is a weird, slight, high-pitched noise coming from the speaker, which I don't like at all. And I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be like that. So let's take this out. Let's put this back in. Ooh. Now there are these little gold-plated contacts at the bottom there. I'm not entirely sure how long they are going to last if you take the battery in and out, because they do look, if you can see on the side profile, fairly thin. But I presume you're not going to take the battery in and out very long. Now off there's no noise at all. So if I turn it back on, yep, it's there. There is a really nasty high-pitched noise coming from that speaker. I'm not happy about that. Anyway, let's look through the menu. Now, if you've watched my previous videos on GCW0, this looks familiar, and that's because it is. It's Open Dingux that's been ported over to the GCW0. From the GCW0. Now, I no longer have the GCW0. Alas, mine suddenly passed away. Or should I say, I got rid of it, because it was slowly passing away. So yeah, I got rid quick. That thing was not built very well. In fact, this, despite the annoying speaker issue, is built quite nicely, in fact marginally better. And none of the, well, I was going to say none of the buttons rattle, but they do rattle. But the D-pad in specifically isn't squeaky like it was on the GCW0. And taking this apart, I presume, is going to be a lot easier, as there's only 4 screws on the back, and the screen looks like it's slightly in there, so I presume it's going to be attached to the board. Now if you leave it for so long, it comes up with that weird thing that says suspend, and you just have to push the R button to come out of it. And if you go down through here, you can see we've got PS1, SMD, SMS, SNES, PCE, WQX, whatever that is. We've got a lot of emulators on here. Nice. So we've got text, we've got file, we've got MP3, we've got text again, and we've got Explorer. Very reminiscent of GCW0. We've got AC2, which is ASC2, sorry. We've got Doom, we've got Digger, Heretic, Hexen, Cough, Liero, Mr. Drillix, Pang, POTT, or is it? No, ROTT, sorry. SDL PAL V1, SDL PAL V2, Soar, Tombstone, Wolf 3D, and then at the bottom we've got system settings, skin. Let's take a look at the skin tool here. So the default skin, ooh, I'm not sure. PS4, okay, that looks kind of cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's go with PS4. Yeah, I've done it now. Let me out. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure if I am keen on. Oh, for crying out loud! Oh, you know what? This is already frustrating. None of the buttons actually make sense, which could be a problem. I'm gonna have to reset it because I don't know what to do, because none of the buttons make any sense on this thing, which is already marginally more difficult than a GCW0. And we're back to the normal skin. If we press, that's better. Right, okay. So you can see that it is pretty much Dingux. It is pretty much Dingux, bar a few exceptions. It's a little bit different to the GCW0. It's mostly the same. If you scroll down to the bottom, you're just going to round robin. Same as if you do it on any of the others. It's nice that we've got an MP3 option. Now I know there was video option on GCW0. Specs for this thing, they're pretty crappy. It's running an Ingenic processor, similar to the GCW, but the RAM constraints is only 32 megabytes. And I have seen that there's a new one coming out soon, which is orientated this way and has LNR buttons on the top, which this is sadly lacking. That one's coming out with some other fixes apparently, but it has the same specs if you look at the spec sheet. So if you purchase that one, you're going to get 2 extra buttons for your cash. That is it. Whereas this one's on sale now for around about £20 from AliExpress. That speaker issue is a problem for me, and I'm gonna have to inspect that. But overall, apart from that, quite a nice little device. The other thing I'm going to do is just check out the SD card. Tonight I'm going to check that out, see what I can put on here from my own collection of games that I used to play on the Zero. Change out some of the ROMs on here, for my own and go from there. But so far so good. I love the screen. The screen is a thing of beauty on this thing. It really is. The viewing angles are great and the brightness is pretty decent too. So yeah, that's my sort of overview look at this thing. The Bittboy V3, I think it is. I'm not entirely sure if it is. If it's not, I'm going to get my money back. I'll have to try it out and see what some of the faults were with the V2 to distinguish as to whether this is the V3. I might even have to open it up, but I won't do that on cam, obviously, because I will want to get my money back if this isn't what it is claimed to be. But yeah, I'll take a look, I'll see what I can get running on here, and then I'll come back to you with another video on this little thing. But I think this can do more than many of the other people that have tried this thing out say it can do, with the right knowledge. So I will be back later. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. If you want to see more on the Bittboy, then please do slap the like button. Let me know in the comment section below that you want to see more on this thing, because I think this thing can do more than what people make it out to do. Make it out to be. It's more than what they make it out to be, because they don't necessarily know what they're talking about when it comes to the firmware. They just think it's custom firmware, but it is actually Dingox, and there is a lot that's been ported over to Dingox. So there is a lot we can try out on this thing, providing we have access to that via the memory card. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. I'll see you soon, guys. Cheers.